See, and according to, as we were saying, game 1 does go over toward Andrew Jessup and Grixis Death Shadow. It's the second time we've had Gift Storm on camera. We saw it against Harlan Fear. We saw Kazu Nagri play that one. As these blue control decks start to show up, Storm, you know, decks that are both have counter spells and cheap removal, this seems to be a good formula for beating Storm.
Yes. Yeah, Storm does require you to have interaction early, and many of their hands force you to have multiple pieces, but these Grixis decks are just ready to fight it on multiple fronts.
Andrew Jessup, turn 1 Serum Visions. Now, there are 3 Blood Moons in the sideboard for Anthony as well. No respect for it as of yet for Andrew, though. He's going to go ahead and fetch straight away for Watery Grave.
Death Shadow needs to apply pressure to its own life total. Your basics are mostly there to find off of Path and Ghost Quarter. Obviously, this matchup won't involve any, but Andrew both wants to fix his mana early, and he wants to deal damage to himself, and it also looks like he's drawn his basic island, so Blood Moon wouldn't be exceptional against him.
Sure, yeah, if he's drawn the basic island, I mean...
Can't fetch Swamp off Scalding Tarn.
Exactly.
He needs to do some work to cast these Death Shadows in his hand anyway.
I guess that's one of the hard parts about Blood Moon is that if Anthony, say, turn 2 is a Blood Moon, it'll be hard for Andrew to get himself below 13.
Mm-hmm.
In kind of an amusing way. It's, you know, yeah, you can't damage yourself without your fetch lands. Or it's hard. You have Street Wraiths.
Yep. Unless you find Swamp, you can't cast Thoughtseize.
Well, and are we going to see the turn 2 Blood Moon from Epps? He's got 2 of them. Manamorphose. He'll still try to hit the Ritual.
Yeah, frequently, it makes sense just to proactively Manamorphose.
Sure.
Just try to catch something.
If you can hit that Desperate Ritual and make the turn 2 Blood Moon, I think Andrew would want to. Does he? Barrel is the draw.
And that's fine. Playing that in turn 2 is totally reasonable.
Plays that, says go. He will have the Blood Moon next turn. You saw him also with pieces of the puzzle in his hand. That was, as you mentioned, some of that value sideboard.
Yep. It looks like he brought 1 copy.
Steam Vents. Nile Spellbomb from Andrew and says go.
That is going to be light on interaction.
Yeah. Well, we have to make sure that Anthony actually has the 3rd land here.
He has something similar. It looks like he has a Ritual.
Have cast Pyretic Ritual. Makes 3 red. I think he's just going for Blood Moon.
It's a hard one to pass up.
Yeah, I think he gets to play Blood Moon with the extra mana in case of a stubborn denial.
And he'd drawn 2 copies of Blood Moon, so this is the plan.
Let's see if Andrew can do anything to fight this. He could have Spell Pierce, I suppose.
Might just see him crack a Spell Bomb in response so we can actually get a card off of it.
Sure. Now, he has the basic island in hand, and he plays 1 basic swamp. But once this Blood Moon's down, he doesn't actually have a way to find it. Is that right?
Finding it might be a tall order.
Andrew floats a black mana. Anthony casts Sleight of Hand.
So the Blood Moon's going to buy some time, but now Anthony needs to look at closing the game.
I actually want to talk about a timing mistake here, I think, on Anthony's side. So Andrew made this black mana main phase. What Anthony should do is pass and say go to end step. Then Andrew will have to main phase, spend the mana to Nile Spellbomb, and then Anthony should cast the Sleight of Hand.
Yeah, it's minor. But I mean, you're right. It informs his decision.
Well, like, then he'd have another card in the graveyard in case Past in Flames shows up.
Yeah. I mean, you don't really miss Sleight of Hand on your Storm turn.
It probably doesn't matter.
If that decides this game, I'll buy you a Coke.
2nd Barrel, the draw from Anthony. That's not... Those guys are legendary, unlike the Goblins. But they do attack for 1. He'll swing in. I'm interested about the chip shotting here with these barrels. I guess because Andrew doesn't have the basic swamp, it's pretty free. Anthony will cast Merchant Scroll.
Unfortunately, he can't Merchant Scroll for an island, but he can certainly set up for a big turn coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, Merchant Scroll can find a blue instant. Usually you get Gifts Ungiven with it. Now Anthony's short on land. Doesn't care, he's getting gifts anyway.
Gifts is still just the best instant.
Yeah. I guess if he's not playing Opt, he could get a Peer Through Depths. That sounds terrible.
Yep, there's the sideboard Echoing Truth, which is not great in this matchup.
Yeah, Anthony's actually really full up on cards. He just doesn't have the mana. You see, he also has pieces of the puzzle in his hand. He'll attack for 1. And he'll just keep loading up. Piece of the puzzle, that was a tap out, so Andrew will Stubborn Denial on that. Little force spike action. Andrew says go. Leaves up Stubborn Denial number 2 in his hand. Also has Thought Scour, but Blood Moon doing what it's supposed to do here.
Yep. Yeah, Jessup not only doesn't have the black mana to cast Death Shadow, but he still has 13.
Yeah, and remember, Andrew never had the option even to fetch the swamp here. His only fetch land was Scalding Tarn. So this wasn't a careless move on Andrew's part. Just simply when he didn't have the way around.
Yeah. Blood Moon's just going to get the Death Shadow deck sometimes.
And we'll see whether or not Anthony has that Gifts Ungiven on end step. Looks like he's going for it. Andrew does have another Stubborn Denial for it. He's going to say move to discard.
Well, then we're not going to see
a Gifts Ungiven.
Gifts.
Nope. Yeah, that's the thing. Once your opponent says, I'm going to discard, you have to make your play there.
Yeah, it makes sense for Anthony just to wait on it anyway.
Make sure it plays around Stubborn Denial.
Yep.
Cast Serum Visions.
He has all the time in the world.
Yeah, you know, there's a fetch land here, and I know that it would just be a mountain. Anthony doesn't care. Mountains are fine. He'll put it on top. Keeps attacking for 1. Andrew down to 11. This barrel, 4 points of damage now? I think so. Andrew
really
will Thought
getting in
Scour
there.
himself. Oh, and he was going to Thought Scour Anthony. Get those 2 lands off the top of the deck.
Well,
nice.
He can't Thought Scour over his
swamp.
own swamp and
He
still
can't
play this
win.
game. And if your opponent is scrying to the top, you want to hit that as well.
He will cycle Street Wraith. Finds another black card. 6 black cards, I think, in hand. No, 1 Stubborn Denial and 5 black cards. Correction.
A lot of fight in the younger Jessup. He's just going to keep playing this game.
And Anthony, those 2 lands milled over, doesn't hit the land. But he's got the inevitability. This 1/3 keeps connecting. He'll say go. Jessup finds Thought Scour. He's got to hold up that Stubborn Denial. He knows about Gifts Ungiven.
Yep. Can't just let that one resolve.
Move to discard. Anthony tries for Gifts Ungiven. Andrew Stubborn denies it.
If there's a second Gifts, that'll make this easy.
Man, it looks like unclear. Another spell drawn from Anthony. Manamorphose. And we might see the combo turn here, especially Andrew's out of blue mana, so it's just green light. And Anthony really doesn't have to get very far on this.
Nope.
He's got a Grape Shot in hand. If he has 2 Grape Shots in hand, he almost doesn't need to cast anything.
He's got a full grip here.
Yeah, I know Past in Flames is in the hand.
Unfortunately, that Blood Moon kind of serving as a mulligan here. That one won't come into play.
You know, if he had 1 ritual, he would already have the lethal set up. He's going to just cast Gifts Ungiven here. So yeah, I think if he just gifts for 3 rituals.
Probably just finds land as the 4th card.
Oh yeah, that is a mana source, isn't it? Ritual, Ritual, Manamorphose, and then land.
Yep.
Yeah. He already has a Past in Flames.
You could find some spell.
Okay, now this is neat. I like this. He's finding Grape Shot because he already has a Grape Shot in his hand.
Sure.
If Andrew gives him the Grape Shot, well, no matter what ritual he gives him with it, Anthony will go Ritual, 1 Grape Shot, 2 Grape Shots. Those are storms of 3 and 4. Take 7, attack for 8. So he will give Anthony the mana.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not any better. Desperate Ritual moves him up to 3. Yeah, this should work. Another one's going to be spell number 4, moves him up to 5 mana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. More than enough happening here.
Yeah, Past in Flames. And Anders, that's good enough for him.
Yep.
There's the Grape Shot in the yard. Game 2 goes to Anthony Epps.
When you already have Past in Flames for hand and you gift for 3 rituals, you're just going to win that turn. That is the one that's nice thing about this current Gift Storm build. You don't have, there's no guesswork. You know, the only thing you're playing around is some kind of graveyard hate.
Now, I have a question going back. There was a turn there when the Blood Moon came down, and maybe it doesn't matter. Andrew sacrificed the Nile Spellbomb so that he could draw a card while I still have black mana. Was there an argument for just not sacrificing it? Just saying, hey, whatever, card's a card, but I need some defense against the combo?
There is an argument, but Anthony's not losing that game to the Nile Spellbomb on that turn anyway.
I guess not. He's just casting. He could win out of hand.
Yeah. And even if he were just completely fizzled there, like the Spellbomb just ends the stack, no more storming that turn, Jessup's still getting beat up by the 1/3.
Yeah, he'd end the stack. Anthony would say, okay, Grape Shot you for 5, attack you for 1, you're at 2, go.
Also, if the Spellbomb's still in play, how about this line? Epps just goes Gifts Ungiven for Gifts Ungiven, Serum Visions, Sleight of Hand.
I love that.
Pieces of the puzzle.
Wishing for more wishes is nice.
Yeah.
That was the way to trick the genie. You just. All right, so I have a third game here. We're at StarCityGames.com. We have our creature collection. These are the exclusive critters you see on game night tokens, now also available at the StarCityGames.com store on playmat sleeves and in player bundles. You can pick them up today, featuring October's newest member of the creature collection. That's the Vampire Night Fox. You can find all of them at StarCityGames.com/creature collection.
It's a good dog.
I said that last week, didn't I? Called him a dog.
Fox and dog are like pretty similar.
Yeah, they're where do they meet up on the? It's not. They're in the same kingdom. They're both animals.
Yep, we know that much. It's a long way down from there.
Yeah.
Kingdom, phylum, class, order,
species.
No, genus first.
Genus, species. Oh boy, I'm gonna get this wrong. You can. This is all you. How about that? I'm gonna.
Pretty sure I just nailed it. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah.
That's your biology lesson for the day.
Only the animal cell, right? I don't think plant cells get those.
It's hard to say. You know, we already.
They're like they get vacuoles instead, which is just like.
Today's lesson's over. No questions.
Okay, we are out of time.
Biology time is over. Back to Magic.
So Andrew's gonna be on the play for this game. Gives him some other chances, more chances, I think, to set up his mana. I don't like Blood Moon on the draw very much out of Anthony's deck. Even though it really won him the game, I'm just not convinced that on the draw. If Andrew finds his basic island and his basic swamp.
Or a Stubborn Denial.
You know, go to that last game and say Andrew had the swamp. The Blood Moon does nothing.
It stops him from having easy access to casting Death Shadow because of the way it stops him from losing a life.
Yeah.
But that's a lot more pronounced on the play.
Right. Well, Andrew Jessup, he was your champion 2 weeks ago in Dallas. The 21-year-old from Ronkonkoma, New York. He is the younger of the two Jessup brothers and one of the metagame gurus. The youngest member on the team, but quickly amassing the most trophies. He has also had some good experience in Modern. What I've liked is we've seen him switch decks. Last year, he had 2 runner-up finishes in Modern, both times playing Infect. Infect's not really a strong deck right now in Modern, though.
Yeah, the ban list and the printing of Fatal Push really pushed him off of that one.
Yeah, both losing Gitaxian Probe and the printing of Fatal Push happening at the same time. You talk about how most of the combo decks are based around creatures. In fact, would just fall into that category as well. I think ideally you'd like to fight on 2 axes. Say, I have an early creature. Like Storm has an early creature you need to kill, but it doesn't win with the creature. It wins on the stack.
Right.
Andrew keeping on 6, scrying to the top.
Funny tension in Modern and Legacy with scrying and fetch lands. Sometimes you'll decline on a turn 1 spell because you don't want to shuffle away the card with the fetch land you would use to cast it.
Yeah, and you see that on Andrew. Turn 1 Serum Visions from Anthony, both cards to the bottom. Andrew could have used a Stubborn Denial on that. That'd be very aggressive.
No thank you.
Especially when he'd scryed to the top on the mulligan.
Yeah. Your opponent's got to be making some really big tells. Maybe if they mulligan to 4, and they had turn 1 Serum Visions.
Then you're just hitting that Serum Vision.
Yeah.
Just don't play this game,
get
okay?
Get this one in there.
So main phase here, turn 2 for Jessup. He will cast Serum Visions. Has found the basic swamp naturally.
Naturally.
Well, he didn't fetch for it.
It's a colloquialism.
He didn't find it with the help of the other land. I knew what I meant.
I know what you meant.
That makes it even worse.
You didn't know what I meant. But it looks like, unfortunately, with that swamp, he has Watery Grave on the battlefield. I think Watery Grave and. Though this deck is not very heavy on red spells anyway. I mean, this is not really the matchup for most of them.
Shocking thought sees. No, it's fine. Anthony's going to give him red mana. See, there you go. There's the Blood Moon. 1 land kept. Oh, my. So, Serum Visions, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, Past in Flames, Manamorphose, Gifts Ungiven. So, Ryan, Anthony cast Serum Visions and scried 2 cards to the bottom. You were making fun of that Stubborn Denial turn 1 play. It would have been nice.
It might have, you know, won the game, or...
You just got to look at your...
You got to have the soul read.
You got to look your opponent in the eye and say, did you keep a 1-lander?
So this is an interesting hand looking at with Thoughtseize. If Anthony peels a land and you leave him with Desperate Ritual Blood Moon, he could have turn 2 Blood Moon.
He probably will,
right? Yeah, that's very likely the play that he makes. Alternatively, if you leave him with Serum Visions when he's struggling for lands, there's a lot of extra looks trying to find the land.
Yeah, if you're looking at those 2 cards specifically.
Yeah, no real strong argument for anything else. I guess you could take the Desperate Ritual.
Okay, yeah, instead of taking the Blood Moon, just take the Desperate Ritual, so it does the same thing.
You're kind of insulated against both things. That way you make it so that Epps has to find 2 mana sources to cast the Blood Moon.
I really like that.
And Jessup's certainly looking at it. He does this a lot, where when he's deliberating, he'll hover over one thing, and he's already made up his mind, but he'll think about it.
The question I have is, does he then pick the thing he hovers over, or does he hover over something and then always tap something else?
I've never seen him audible, but I don't know. It looks like he pointed, but then is backed up here.
It feels strange to take the Ritual, but that's what Andrew here will do.
If there's just a land on the top here, that does make sense.
Remember, Andrew does have the basic swamp in hand.
If Jessup can make a threat on the following turn, his black mana becomes a lot less important going down the line.
Now, did Anthony find a basic? He did. It's a basic mountain, though.
So he's going to Manamorphose to try to find a ritual.
Well, so if he finds the ritual, though, Anthony doesn't have blue mana.
Sure, you'd Blood Moon himself off of it.
Yeah, does that matter?
He had second Manamorphose, right? So on a critical turn, he could make blue mana.
I guess the issue, with trying to take the ritual is that Anthony gets to free roll these.
Peeled an island there as well.
Okay, so he's got the blue mana covered.
Can't Blood Moon off that.
He's going to try once more for a ritual.
It could be game breaking if he finds it.
And he does, Pyretic Ritual. So Andrew tried to keep him off the Blood Moon, but it was not happening. Ritual, mana's gone. Yeah, Storm to 4, I suppose. Here's Blood Moon.
Jessup has that swamp. He'd like to have Tasigur to pair with it.
And he does. And there we go. So he's still playing. There was a swamp. Now, no blue mana means no counter spells.
Yeah, those Stubborn Denials in his hand looking pretty poor.
Anthony now has to reload and try to find a win. Here will be Serum Visions. Finds a land. That's just a mountain.
It is pretty nice for Jessup that in order for Epps to set up this Blood Moon, he had to cast all of his rituals.
Yeah, but I think he can do it. So he's got land 4 in his hand now. He put a ritual on top of his deck. We already know he has a Past in Flames. We're getting pretty close to this adding up to a win.
Yeah, you don't see it often, but we might see Storm just go off without one of the mana creatures.
Another land. It says go. We can set up that end step Gifts Ungiven. That should do it.
And best possible top deck for Jessup would have been Basic Island. Doesn't look like he found it.
Yeah, Fatal Push would be okay. We'll see. Here's that Gifts Ungiven, though, from Epps. He's down to 12.
If you are interested in playing Commander,
And you see Stubborn Denial in Andrew's hand.
for the next Commander pod.
Yeah, there's no way for him to find 3 mana creatures.
Yeah, you see some lists playing Noxious Revival for that reason. It's
Sure.
not available here.
So he'll get Electromancer, Barrel, and then maybe just like a land or some rituals. Empty the Warrens. Okay.
And just have a big empty turn. Maybe another Gifts Ungiven.
I think he already has another Gifts in his
Okay,
hand.
wouldn't go for that one. Could just get Manamorphose. That's always
Yeah.
just a good card to have.
A land, honestly.
Grape Shot, that one's fine.
Sure. See what Andrew gives him. Feels like you want to give him both Storm cards. And just going to take those 2 mana creatures. Put those in the yard. Yeah, I can't let him have those.
He knows he's separating it that way. Just deciding where they're going. Yeah, very likely just dead in the face of either of those on the following turn. Probably still dead in the face of these other 2.
Well, I mean, the dangerous part, right, is that Anthony still doesn't even have to go for it this turn. He can...
Yep, got some time.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony would hate to wait another turn and then have Andrew draw that island. It would really...
It
yeah.
would change things. Once that Gifts resolves, though, he does just have empty in his hand. Pretty easy to convert on goblins.
I suppose, especially against a Death Shadow opponent who already is at a low life total. Draw from Andrew. More blue cards. Swings Tassiger. Epps is down to 8.
Another Gifts Ungiven here would make it for a really easy turn.
Yeah,
Doesn't look like he had
looks like
it.
he just draws, but now he has another land. And I like this timing on Anthony. The trick with Storm, you want to wait until the last possible second to go off. You know, the last turn where you can safely do it. Looks like Anthony's decided now is the time. So spell 1 is Desperate Ritual, makes 3 red.
Yeah. Even taps an island. Usually you don't use too much blue mana on the combo turn itself.
Yeah, you're right. Normally you wouldn't even need to tap an island there, but you're spending it anyway. So here's Past in Flames. All the cards gain flashback. 2 spells cast this turn.
I needed to make sure he still had red left to cast rituals out of the graveyard.
Makes sense. See, now he separates out all those rituals. All the cards in the graveyard have flashback. So spends 2. Cast Pyretic Ritual up to 3 red. Casts Desperate Ritual, going to go up to 4 red. So making sure he's counting his spells correctly. Casts the other Desperate Ritual. And now Manamorphose. Makes 2 blue.
Now he filters in the blue. If he finds some cantrips, he could cast those and add to the Storm count. Plenty of mana left over to go for empty or Grape Shot, wherever this turn takes him.
Casts another Manamorphose. So now he's counting using the Exile Pile. So he's cast 5 cards out of the graveyard. The Past in Flames is 1, and to get to the Past in Flames, he played 1 ritual before. So now plays Pyretic Ritual out of hand.
Yeah, looks like he'll just be casting Grape Shot and empty this turn. That puts him up to 6 mana. I think one of the cards he picked up off of Manamorphose was another Blood Moon. That one's not going to play on a combo turn.
And here's going to be Grape Shot, first of his Storm cards. He'll Grape Shot, remand the original copy, and then cast Grape Shot again. This should be lethal.
Yep, that's certainly enough. Yeah, fun trick with Storm. You put a bunch of copies of your spell on the stack, remand the proper Storm card itself, cast it again, you get another Storm trigger.
And that's going to do it. Andrew extends the hand. It is Anthony Epps on Giftstorm, winning both sideboarded games on the strength of Blood Moon, and he'll improve to 4-0.